iDriveSoCal is brought to you by the very best auto retailers from across Southern California. When it's time for you to buy, or even just kick the tires on the idea of buying, just go to iDriveSoCal.com and click on dealers. iDriveSoCal.com, click on dealers, and get connected. Now, on with the podcast.
It's as if Vespa met Tesla and it became electric. And it's for the bike lane. No license required, no registration, no insurance. And it's really not a bike, but it goes wherever bikes go.
Welcome to iDriveSoCal, the podcast all about mobility in the automotive capital of the United States, Southern California. I'm your host, Tom Smith, and today I'm joined by Mr. Dale Seiden, who is a friend, colleague, and also the founder of a new electric, I'm going to call it a scooter, but Dale's going to correct me perhaps, electric scooter company called OjO. OjO is based right here in the Southern California area. Dale, thank you so much for joining me.
Tom, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's really great to see you.
Good to see you as well.
A real
Thank you.
Shocker and great.
Dale and I ran into each other at LA Commotion, an event all about mobility in Southern California, and didn't know that each other were going to be here. So there you have it. Now we have a podcast in the works that's coming out of an organic meeting, and this podcast is just as organic as that meeting. So
We love organic.
Right? Let's start from the beginning. How did OjO become?
Well, let me just clear one thing up. I am one of the founders. There's actually three of us that co-founded the company. Two friends of mine and myself. We were just kind of sitting around. We're electric bike enthusiasts. And this was kind of created it was a labor of love. I mean, we love riding bikes. And of course, we got into electric bikes. And the OjO, which is soon to be, and when this comes out, it will be called the Ford OjO Electric.
Congratulations on that. Ford, F-O-R-D,
F-O-R-D, as in Henry.
As in Henry.
And they were very hungry to get into the sustainability, the transportation world, and they really went nuts when they saw the OjO. So, but anyway, back to what you had asked. We were sitting around and we were just saying, hey, let's come up with something. We truly were retired and just kind of having fun and didn't want to not work. So we said, let's come up with a scooter, something that would be for adults, not kids, because everything's razor-like, everything's foldable, it's unstable. So let's come up with something that really would be designed as if Tesla developed it. And so it would be super cool, super high-tech, have great torque, have great meaning to the world, the environment, and let's see what we could do. And in the words of most of the people that have seen it, we nailed it. It's quite a product, and we created a whole new category in transportation.
I look forward to hopping on one shortly after this talk. Maybe by the time that I do, we'll be able to post it along with the podcast.
You sure you're ready for this now, Tom?
So
No, you'd love it. You just want to ride it home, I guarantee you.
I'm sure. Maybe you can give me a deal on one. But
we would do that. Double.
For you, double. Thank you so much. You mentioned Ford. That is just congratulations 1,000 times over. That is just so flippin' awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It was a big coup for us, I would say. But they came to us after being exposed to the product and closed this deal in a very short amount of time. They really want it. They're hungry. All the manufacturers are for alternative transportation and mobility options.
And you mentioned Tesla earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have some big players in the space when we're talking about Ford. Was there other companies that were knocking at your door saying, hey, let's have a talk about working together?
Actually, after visiting the licensing show in Las Vegas last May, which is when we had a meeting with Ford, we actually did have several automobile manufacturers that expressed tremendous interest in this product. Again, it's so different. You just look at it. It has the distinctive aspect of it. It's in the light electric vehicle category, not foldable. It's not for just the last mile. It's for the last mile and beyond. It's really to replace your shorter commutes in an automobile and have comfort and luxury.
Let's talk about some of the specifics. Range, how does it juice up? Is it two-seater? Is it one-seater? Are there accessories?
So it's a light electric vehicle, but we could throw a personal light electric vehicle in there.
Okay.
It's really designed for one person. It's so robust. The motor's it's 500 watt gear hub motor. 2 people can hop on this without a problem, but I wouldn't say, it's the safest thing in the world for 2 people to get
Not
on a
designed
one
for 2
seat.
people.
Yes, but it is without question the versatility of it, the utility of it, and the technology of it is incredible. You asked about juicing up. It's very interesting. We actually have something that nobody's done, obviously, because we are just closing in on the patent for it, and it's got a onboard charger, and there's actually a retractable cord and plug that when you open a little door on the front, you think it's now an appliance. So it's literally this luxury 2-wheel appliance that's buzzing around the road. So wherever you go, charging is only as far as, for example, that 110 outlet on the wall to your right. All you'd have to do is plug it right in there, and it charges. So you don't have to wait till you get back home to charge it. It's pretty amazing.
And how long does the charge take?
Charge from 0 to full is about 5.5 hours. And then wherever you go, you just plug it in. So your chance of going down to 0, unless you're just trying to go your 25 miles straight on, is pretty slim.
So then what about infrastructure? Do you see in the future, I pull up to the grocery store, I lock my OjO to the bike rack looking thing and plug it in while I go get my groceries?
It's exactly what's going to happen. As a matter of fact, we are going into universities all over the country, and we're actually developing a charging station that is super high tech. Actually, one of them's solar, the other one's not. So we've got some real neat things we're working on, but that'll actually be like a bike rack that you would just take a regular cable or a good chain bike lock, which is very simple. Lock it to that and plug it right in, and it'd be a waterproof plug connection. So we're actually developing that as well.
Is it a bike? Is it a scooter? What is it okay for me to call it in your?
We call it a light electric vehicle.
A light electric vehicle.
So it's an LEV. But I have to tell you, it really it's as if Vespa met Tesla and it became electric. And it's for the bike lane. No license required, no registration, no insurance. And it's really not a bike, but it goes wherever bikes go.
I want to talk a little bit more about how the Ford deal came together, because I think that's a really significant piece of your story. But before we get to that, the 3 founders, what are the background of these 3 guys?
As far as the 3 original founders, myself, Don Ratner, Alan Shapiro, and actually there is a 4th who's our design guy, Bill Woodward. Amazing guy. But let me go to Don Ratner. He's really a genius and a visionary and an accomplished, successful businessman. He was in the toy business. He was one of the largest partners with Disney in their licensing. So that kind of ties the license piece of it together.
Sure.
Alan Shapiro's family. And Don, he was the Super Soaker, which you probably played with as a kid.
Yeah.
That was his.
Okay.
So, and it goes on and on.
Okay.
A lot of license deals, fast-moving consumer products, they call it for these big companies.
Okay.
Alan Shapiro, amazing guy. Family owned a very large plumbing supply company called Familian Pipe and Supply, who they sold it years ago to a company which is now Ferguson Enterprises, which is very big on a national basis.
Sure.
And Alan's been in the plumbing distribution business for most of his life, so he's really smart in that part of it. And me, as you know, from our affiliation, I founded a very large grill company, outdoor kitchen appliances, and stainless steel manufacturing, those appliances for residential. And I also designed restaurant kitchens and built very high-end restaurants. I was known for the best quality in that, building from scratch, organically, everything you see in a restaurant kitchen to make it operate and so it makes money. So if you tie all those together, and then you take Bill Woodward, who's our creative design guy, of course he designs based on our input, but you take those 4 pieces, put them together, and it is a powerhouse foundation for the company.
I want to get to the Ford, but just before I do, because this ties into it too. 3, arguably 4 successful professionals in their various disciplines. But how do you guys gather to beat out what I would assume would be lots of other people desiring the same deal that Ford bestowed upon you, when none of you actually nobody worked on vehicles before, much less a light electric vehicle that creates a category?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
How?
Well, a lot of creativity, a lot of vision, a lot of identifying an absolute need to improve transportation on a worldwide basis in cities all over the world. What's interesting is when we conceived this, and it was an organic creation from Santa Monica, where we have our corporate office, when we conceived it, the need was minuscule compared to what it is today. It was like barely scraping the surface. Today, the need, just based on all these foldables you see and all these other electric bikes and all kinds of things that are going out there, and then you read about Volvo is going to be in electric cars only within the next 6 years, I believe is what it is, or 7 years. It goes on and on. So everything is kind of just morphed. From when we started, we had no idea. We were kind of doing this for fun and to help the planet and to come out with something that was super cool, because we're all about really the cool factor in whatever we've all done. And we've got some strategic partners, investors, I should say, in the company that are amazing, very well known. And when I say strategic, we weren't looking for money like most of these companies that start up, Kickstarter and things like that.
Sure.
We were self-funded, and these investors came out of the woodwork who happened to be friends of my partners, myself, who said, I want on that bandwagon. They look at this as kind of our, and I'll use this term, Beats moment. Is
right.
Kind of the thing.
Sure.
From what Jimmy Iovine,
Sure.
Experienced. And we have really created what we feel is this whole new category of the next area in transportation. Not your last mile, not your foldable, not your toyish kind of thing. It is a real piece of smart transportation that you ride instead of driving your car.
The Ford deal. You mentioned before we started the podcast the timing that it came together. Just shocking from start to finish. Summarize that.
So one of our strategic partners is a guy that used to be the president of Warner Brothers for their consumer products. He started the division. That's really what most of these big studios make their money on, is the peripheral things that go around.
Sure.
Consumer products, kids, toys, whatever it might be. So this guy was very close with somebody with the licensing company who brokers many licenses for many companies and handles Ford. So I'll cut to the chase. We had a meeting with these guys. They loved the product, but now we had to go to the next step with Ford, and they were able to get a meeting with us at the licensing show with Ford. And this was just a thought we had because Don Ratner was so big in the licensing business. He's always built products by taking a brand that's known. It's a very smart way. It's a great business model when you think about it. So we went there, and the head of global licensing for Ford, basically, and his group of people, we did our whole presentation there, and they went nuts. They just went nuts. And we had a contract finished in 3 months. That usually probably takes 1.5 years to 2 years, I would guess, for a company like that. But they have a new president and CEO who's really into technology and mobility and those type of things. So our timing couldn't have been better. They were as anxious to do this as we were.
Sounds like timing couldn't have been better in so many, everything.
Yeah.
Right?
It's absolutely true.
What does the Ford deal look like? I know you have the Ford logo on your business card. You said the name is going to be now a Ford product. What does the big picture of the Ford deal look like?
Well, here's what's really interesting, the way we've done this from a marketing strategy standpoint. It is actually going to be the Ford Oval with the OjO Electric, which is our company, our product company underneath. So we are going to be co-brand heroes, so to speak. So the Ford obviously is iconic on a worldwide basis. It's one of the most well-known, if not the most known brand in the world. They do unbelievable in Asia and Europe and all those places, not to mention here. But we are actually going to have the OjO name on there as, I guess you would call it, a co-branded product, although our relationship with them is really a partnership of brand, being able to use their brand. It's pretty amazing, and it is stellar to see that oval with the OjO Electric underneath in chrome. We're both heroes on the product. The product is a mega hero with both these names.
And it's a global agreement.
Global.
So am I going to be able to buy an OjO at my local Ford dealer?
You'll be able to buy, once they are available, which is just after the first of the year, one model special for the Ford dealers. And then we'll have 11 different styles, including the most amazing one, I think, which is the Ford Woody-inspired OjO that is so incredible. It's nostalgic looking. It's got the authentic 1959 Ford emblem on the front.
Ford is going to have a model that they sell in their dealerships, and then you're going to have a Ford branded model that you guys are selling elsewhere.
Elsewhere. And elsewhere, like Best Buy, is going to be, we're already in Best Buy with the OjO product.
Okay.
But we are actually going to have a destination showcase showroom, just like Best Buy has with Apple and with Microsoft and all these different companies.
Like a store within a store.
A store within a store, SWAS for short. We are actually going to be in Best Buys with these SWASs. Best Buy is a very interesting company, and it's kind of interesting. Where do we actually sell this? What's the best channel to sell the OjO? Is it car dealerships? Is it motorcycle shops? Is it scooter stores? Is it electronic stores? Is it appliance stores? Kitchen appliance stores?
Amazon.
But we feel that the real target for us, or the best partner for us, is the Best Buy store and having this destination showroom. We're going to have like a Tesla showroom in Best Buys.
When does that start? Does that start next year as well?
That's starting right after the first of the year.
Okay. So 2018 is going to be big for OjO.
Yeah, it's going to be a big year. And for Ford, too.
What goals do you guys have for OjO over the course of the next 3 to 5? Is there an exit?
There is, if I told you there wasn't an exit, I wouldn't be telling you the truth. I mean, obviously, I love to work, and but we're seasoned and well-heeled, my partners and I.
But at the beginning of this, though, you were explaining how, it was a few retired guys that were buddies kicking around saying, well, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to about 10 minutes ago in this story, it sounded like a pretty aggressive startup. Couple of guys sitting around.
What's funny,
kicking the tires on some ideas.
Tom, what's really crazy is it became bigger than us. We didn't expect it. We weren't looking for investors. Investors came out. Once we got a few investors that just wanted it, then we figured we'd cap it off at a certain amount.
Sure.
It was nothing to find people to invest. I say nothing. They all believed in us because they knew our backgrounds. And
Sure.
It's quite a group. Some of the names I can't mention right now. There's a big time celebrity, and I'll just tell you it's a she, and she invested a lot of money. And again, it's a beats moment kind of thing, which is exciting. But we have our goal.
And you mentioned that to me before, and I'll respect the need for not disclosing here. Mm-hmm. But why can't we disclose?
Let's just say today I can't disclose it.
Okay.
But it'll be disclosed after probably May is, I believe, when a feature film comes out.
Okay.
And that feature film.
That's what I was. Is there some big thing?
And after that, we'll see a lot of things happen, and it's pretty amazing. And the other group, the other people involved, they're just amazing people. They're advisors, they're investors. This is a great
the team that you want.
Team we want. And your question was, where are we in 5 years? What are we looking to do? We're not looking to exit tomorrow, but the next day we are. No, I'm kidding. No, but our whole thing is, we want to build a company. We want to make it really successful, and we're on our path, a good path to doing that, to having that happen now. But we are going to expand the product line. We are coming out with, nothing short of astonishing, a foldable OjO that I can't even disclose. It's so cool that we're going to keep it secret until such time that we are in production with it. But it's going to make all the other foldables out there have to rethink their game.
Is it a OjO hoverboard like in Back to the Future?
We didn't think of that. No, it's the style, it's the design, it's patented. We have patents on it, and it's also the materials that it's going to be made in, and the type of don't forget, my background is manufacturing. So, and one of our strategic partners is a brilliant manufacturing guy, a very successful guy who sold his business, and he's actually overseeing the product development on this stuff. It's pretty amazing. The story about OjO Electric is going to be one for the books.
So you said you have 11, 12 models right now?
Yeah, 12, which really just comes down to it's
color schemes?
Color schemes, and
okay.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned the product lineup is expanding to something foldable. So is there going to be basically the two different lines with lots of different colors, or do you have more lines coming?
The foldable, at this point, I'm not sure how many colors. Right now, it's one color.
Okay.
It's a pretty awesome color. We will continue to evolve the OjO commuter scooter, is what we call it now, the Ford OjO. It's still going to have the name commuter scooter. That's the model.
What's the price tag going to be on it?
Well, right now, it's at $19.99.
Okay.
And I'm not saying $19.99,
Yep.
so it's $2,000, let's say.
Yep.
And after the first of the year, we're going to go up a very small amount once we reset with the Ford name on it, and it's going to be $21.50.
And it's available now in various locations, but where do we want to send people from the podcast to learn more, to buy it, to follow you, etc.?
Go right on ojoscooter.com, and you can learn about everything, see the videos we have, the how-to videos, which are amazing, and they're fun to watch.
The company, the new category is OjO Scooters, ojoscooters.com. My friend, Dale Seiden, thank you so much
Yes,
for joining
Tom.
me, one of the
My
founders
pleasure.
of OjO Scooters. And that brings us to an end of this episode of iDriveSoCal. I'm Tom Smith. Until next time. This episode of iDriveSoCal was engineered by Micah Palmquist and J-Dubs produced on site.